Hello, everyone. Good morning. Let me start with today's important topic of communication. So, which is the most important for everyone who's work under any organization. So, before getting into it, let me start with a simple situation. Imagine that you are a leader, like it may of any person, like of manager, or else if you work in the organization of college, we say as an HODs or whoever it may be. If they tells leader who tells you that please finish this project or task as soon as possible, you go back to your desk and start working. You think that as soon as possible means maybe if he's saying on Monday means it may be of before the commence of week on Friday, but your leader actually expected by the tomorrow morning. You work hard and your leader waits and the deadline passes. Then suddenly both of you are frustrated. Now here is the interesting question. Did anyone fail to your work? No, right? Did anyone intentionally create a problem? No, we will not intentionally create a problem. The real problem is of was a communication, and this is the exactly what today's topic is: a communication up, down, and across thing. So, and in any organization, communication doesn't happen only between the leaders or the managers and the employees. It can be happen to the anyone in important direction. So, in this topic, I have to explain. The first is a downward communication. That is what the communicating from leaders to the team members. And second is an upward communication, that is communicating from employees to the leaders. And third is in lateral, like it's across functional communication, that is cross communication, we can say it as a we are communicating with our team at the same level across the different teams or in the different departments. Think about an organization is like an human body. The brain makes a decision, but the information has to travel throughout the body, right? If the communication stops somewhere, the whole system is affected. That something or the same thing happens in the organization. A good idea can fail because it has been not explained properly, and a good employee become frustrated because of their concern were not heard, and that is two excellent teams can create a problem simply because they didn't share the information properly. So the thought is that this presentation would be of helpful how we can communicate with the people, not which does not just hear us, but actually they have to understand us the information. So let's begin into this why the communication is breakdown. So, why the communication breakdowns? So, let's imagine the team working on a college event. The team leader says that we need to organize the event successfully. It sounds simple, right? But it doesn't mean that what does a successfully means that we have to getting 100% participants, or else we have to get the event budget or getting feedback or finishing everything before Friday. The first problem is like unclear expectation. So that when the what and why aren't clearly explained, the people start making their own assumption. As an and assumption is always very mere dangerous, right? So for example, one team members prepares the poster, another team members prepare the registration system, and another is contacting the guest, and nobody clearly discuss what is happened and who was responsible for what. On the day of event, discovered the guest list was not finalized. Now everyone started asking who was supposed to do this. This lead to rework, missed deadlines or frustration. The second problem is like see all the teams. See all is like imagine that we are working with the marketing team, or else known that the date has changed, but they don't tell that to the technical team. The technical team is continuously preparing the websites with the old dates. The marketing team is printing the poster with the new dates. Now we have two different version of the same information, and this has happened when the team work like a separate island. Everyone is busy, but they're not connected to each other. The third problem is like misaligned priorities. Imagine that, for example, let me take from an organization of sales team. Sales team is trying to get more customers, and at the same time, the technical team is spending a 3 weeks of improving the features that is customers is rarely use it. Both the teams are working hard, but they are not working towards the same priority. They work on a different thing they both on, and here is the important reason, like being a busy or uh, doesn't necessarily mean that being productivity. If the communication is not clear, people are can put the tremendous effort into the wrong thing. That this is why the communication is not simple about talking. It's about creating shared understanding, and it takes us our first direction of the communication of breakdown. Now let's begin with the communicating down, that is sitting up here with the team up for the success. Now imagine that you are a leader of a team and you have an important task that you should simply say the team finished the report by Friday. That is an instruction. But here is a better approach. Team, we need to finish the work report by Friday because leader team is using it to make a next month budget decision. If we delay it, the entire plan processing will be delayed. So this is sound good, right? Notice the difference that the second message explains why, and the first principle is like lead with the why. Why it is important was a basic thing. When the people understand why something is matter, they can make a better decision. Here is a simple example. Suppose the teacher tells the student, submit your project by tomorrow. Students make simple thing, right? I need to finish this because the teacher told me. But submit your project tomorrow because we are going to use your project to select the best idea for the school exhibition. Suddenly, the purpose is clear. People understand why it is important, right? Uh, so I see the problem when nobody hears properly, but instead of saying only the question is the most important, is what the most of the people do, right? What when we do something, we have to ask why we are doing, and what is a part of your plan that might create difficulty for you. This must be the better communication. And third principle is like we have to see about a repeat key message. So this we it means that we are reinforcing the important priorities through the different channels. You might discuss something in a meeting and then send a short mail. This means that again we are and then again mentioning during one to one why, because people don't always remember everything they hear. Think about the advertisement. Company repeatedly saying the same message again and again because repetition is always recall. So if you are communicating downward member, explain why and invite questions that why they what is the problem they are facing and repeat what it matters. So now let's go to the next slide. So next is the communicating up. It is the same opposite to what we have seen on the previous slide. So now imagine that you are an employee and you have an idea and you have to go to your higher authority or a leader and say, we need more people on this project. The workload is too much. Your leader might ask, why do you need more people? And you say, because we are very busy and this is not a strong business case. Now you imagine you say, over the last 4 weeks, our team has been completed only 20% of the work and the two deadlines have already moved. And the current workload means that next month will be getting delivery, which is at risk. I recommend adding one temporary team means for 6 weeks. So this is completely different, right? This brings a first principle and lead with a data. When you're communicating with upward, don't depend on only on emotions. They need an evidence They need the numbers, they need a why it is trends, examples. Instead of saying customers are unhappy, say that customer complaints increased from 10% per week to 25 per week. Now the leader can see the problem. The second is like respect their time. Senior leaders often have many decisions to make, so don't spend 20 minutes of explaining the problem without telling what you need. So try this structure like here is the problem and here is the evidence and here is my recommendation. And this makes the communication much more effectively. The third is then align with to their goals. Imagine that you are a boss or the leaders biggest priority is like to reduce a project delay. Don't simply say that I want this software because it makes it easier. So instead of that, you say that I need this software to reduce the time we spend manually on reporting. And now you request to the connected to the organization on your goal. The key is like when we communicating with the upward, don't ask what do I want, ask why should leader care about this. That small changes of the transformation can completely transform the conversation. Thanks for watching and we'll meet in the next video. Bye.